when I grow up, I'm going to marry you. And he forgot that part of himself because of the sickness. Another thing that I think it's important, a lot of people here try to rally around him when he was really, really sick. When he left here, as Randy said, and he came down to us, you know, he thought he was coming to recover and heal, and he actually went out and healed other, I mean, not that he's a healer, but he went out and he did not tell his new friends anything about his sickness. They did not know. And we did not know they did not know, because those were Dad's friends and we were trying to give him space. And it just turns out that as we were sharing the sad news with them, they had no idea, and we had no idea, they had no idea. And they also said, why such a talented man? He forgot. He could not, in his sickness, see who he was. There were two men there, and this is another thing to say, but I hated that man that hurt my dad, that constantly told him that he wasn't good enough. Because one time he said, I don't know what you see in me. And I said, Dad, you know, he said, I feel like I failed you. I said, Dad, you were my dad. You know, you were my rose. There's a whole sea of roses out there, but you were my rose. And I love you. And that makes you the most important dad to me. That makes you the best dad. And he could hear me, but just a little bit. And so there's not really moral here. I just want to share who my dad was. I mean, there's a lot of people out here that have known my dad forever, and they could tell you a whole different story. I walked with Dad through all of those different phases, but even when he was sick, he was still a beautiful man. There were sad things, there were hard things. But I love my dad. I loved him. He loved my children loved him. My husband, obviously, he has been my husband's closest friend for a long time. I'm gonna miss him. So. Did you want to say something?
My grandpa's also a very brave man. I'm a terrible driver, like the worst driver I've ever met. And my grandpa believed I could drive. He believed that I was going to learn to drive enough that he was willing to ride in the car with me. And one of the few people in the world. And I remember one time when I was coming back from Corpus Christi, I had to drive over the Harbor Bridge. That wasn't the original plan. I was supposed to exit, and there was construction, and I didn't make the exit. And it's a huge bridge. I'd never done anything like that before. And there was construction on the bridge itself. It was down to one lane. And I was absolutely terrified. There were people honking at me and flicking me off, and I'm trying to get over this thing. And when I get down, you know, anyone else would have been like, pull over, you know, and would have freaked out. But my grandpa just laughed, and he was like, see, you made it. So, yeah, Grandpa was a great person, and he was a really brave man.
That reminds me of something that Dad said to me one time. It might not sound like a compliment to just anybody out here that doesn't know the history, but he once told me, well, first of all, he was there when I had to make the biggest decision of my life, and a lot of people in my life were condemning me for the decision that I had to make, and Dad came in and clapped me on the back. It's like I was a buddy, you know? He shook my hand so hard, and he said, congratulations, I did not know you had it in you. I am so proud of you. And that meant so much to me, because I felt like my whole entire world at that point was abandoning me, but my dad was there for me. And then another time we were driving along, actually going to visit Jake and Jolene's family, and we were driving along just talking, and he said, you know, I've always respected you. I was like, respect me? I'm your daughter. I said, yeah, no matter what happens to you, you're like a cat. You know, you can jump from the roof of a train and land on your feet. And for some reason, that meant so much to me, because my dad had faith in me. He believed in me. So, I've probably taken up too much time, but this is someone else's home.